Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, squaddies, no matter where in the world you might be. Thank you once again for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. It's a big weekend for the Gunners. When is it not a big weekend for the Gunners? The Lionesses also win. Oh, happy Friday.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome back to Squad Central. It is the Late Late Show, and I gave you late notice for it. So for those listening on replay, thank you so much. And to those who are listening on our audio platforms, iTunes, Apple, and Spotify, thank you. And also thank you to one of my favourite Arsenal men, Mr. James Johnstone, for joining me this evening.
Thank you very much for the invite. No, I appreciate it.
And to the squaddies at ease, I lose my manners when Kev's not here, but that's okay. Good evening to the usual suspects, Rich. And do you know what? Where is she? Our chief like officer is getting promoted, okay? Because the chief like officer came into the chat when I set up the show originally for 8 o'clock and said, Soph, I can't be here because I'm going to watch England versus the USA. And I was like, brain fart. I'd been doing the press conferences all week, okay? Had the pleasure of talking to the US women's national team, and it's been a tough week for them. Let me tell you, we'll get stuck into that on another day. And I said, Tammy, not only are you chief like officer, but now you're chief operations officer, because look at you reminding me. So I scrapped the 8 o'clock and I made it 10 o'clock. So for those of you who have made it, thank you so much. And thank Tammy, all right, that the fact that we're here at this hour. And stuff. Right. That's it. That's the story from this morning. And James, I just got off a phone call where I was talking about a film project I'm working on, and I thought of you, and I thought of Magic Mike while I was on my call, actually, because wrestling came up, and I don't know if you saw. Did you see the pictures of Magic?
Of course.
Yeah.
What a man.
Yeah.
He was repping the brand at AEW, so yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I notices everything. I did. I burnt my arm on the stove the other day making, may I say, a very delicious pasta pomodoro. All right.
Was it worth getting burnt for?
Absolutely worth any food. Yeah. Any food is worth getting burned for, unless it's one of those dodgy breakfast burritos from McDonald's or something. All right. I'm now just rambling. Let's talk football, James. By the way, let's not forget our good friends at Zenith Coins. I've got some very exciting stuff to show you guys next week. You're going to be really, really excited. And we are going to start giving away stuff here. We're going to be known as the giveaway show. So hold your hats, all right? Or hold your nuts like they do all the girls when there's a free kick. Do you know what I mean? Protect your assets, because the Sophie and Kevin giveaway train is coming. It's going to be the holiday season here, and it's going to start early. And let me just tell you that you guys are going to be super psyched by what you see, and you're going to want it all.
Will people other than Jags win? That's the question that's going to be asked.
They will. And if you guys thought this was sexy, let me tell you, there's going to be more sexiness coming. And they're going to create even better codes and special offers for the holiday season too. Had a call with them this morning. Top shelf. I'm so proud to be associated with a company like this. They're doing stuff for Rangers, Benfica, massive brands, massive football clubs, pretty much a lot of the Premier League teams. So yeah. Ty will probably complain about pricing, but you know what? That's just how it's going to be for him. Hold your process. Absolutely. Yes. Hold your process. Why not? James, last night, how much did you love watching the game? Did you love watching the game? I mean, at this stage, the Europa League isn't particularly exciting, but let me tell you something. This fella, hello, you said that Nuno was saucy at one point.
I did.
Maybe you should have reserved some of your sauciness for Fabio.
Yeah, there's got to be something in that Portuguese water, hasn't there? They're just saucy boys. Yeah, I mean, first half I thought was amazing. I think second half, and the manager alluded to it with our good friend Kaya, that asked the question: Kaya or Kaya? I always don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm sorry if I've
Kaya.
butchered.
I think
I've,
Kaya.
I think it's Kaya, but I'm sorry if I've butchered it. I know he watches. Yeah, he asked the question. I thought Arteta summed it up basically word for word how I would have, but with more nice bits in there because he's a bit more he's less Essexy, so he's got more words. He's better with his words than me.
Are you talking
Um,
about Kaya or Mikel?
Mikel, and no, I was very impressed with it's Kevin said it a few times. It's a squad game, and some of those lads that come in yesterday, I thought were brilliant. We've seen them sometimes, and you're like, well, you've really not took your opportunity here. You've been given a great opportunity, and you've just not taken the opportunity when it was been given to you. And I think all of them showed that, okay, you might not get into that first 11 immediately, because that first 11 at the moment is, Trey Bon. But if you are going to be needed and you are going to be relied upon, you've shown that you can do a job. Okay, I think Eddie, that second chance is what he's going to be judged on more than anything. You should be burying that. You're dreaming for service like that from Odegaard. And when you finally do get it, unfortunately, you hit the punters in about row C or row D. But, it happens to them all. But I'll tell you what, if that comes in again, he's probably going to score the next couple. So I'm not going to hold it against him. And I thought he had a good game. I thought Tommy Asu, even though he said he had a bad game, I thought he was brilliant. I'm like, God, this guy's hard on himself. I like it. If he doesn't think that's his best level, I'm like, well, I'm excited for what your best level is, because I thought you were mustard last night, Tomiyasu. I thought Tierney was really, really good.
Hmm.
And I think his sub, a lot of people alluded to it. I think it might be Zinchenko's the only one that's out.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
I
think
think that's why
Tierney's probably,
Tierney came off.
so do I. I think he's probably going to be playing. And yeah, I thought other than some of the stuff positionally with Lokonga, because he's still learning that sixth role, from the preseason, you watch some of those assists and the goals that he got. This kid's a talent. Company said it, others have said it. This
Thierry.
guy's his delivery is very, very good. And yeah, I agree with that as well. He got a lot of flack last night because obviously the build up and the quality's not there. And I was trying to tell people, if you've got a goalkeeper that is exactly the same in terms of what Ramsdale does progressively and helping us with build up and everything, and as a keeper as well, he's not going to be second choice, is he? He's going to
Hmm.
play all the time. So, so you've got to accept what you
Yeah,
know
I th-
what
I
what
think
Turner is, and I think that save in the second half was brilliant.
it
Kept
was
us
a
in the
and
game.
it, dare I say, was it a double save? And then Holding
Yes,
kind of kicked it off the line. I
exactly.
think he had three really good saves last night. Look, I say this with uh, respect. There is a little bit of prejudice towards Matt Turner coming from MLS, and we've got to stop this, right? He's an Arsenal player. And listen, everyone keeps telling me, what do you know? Mikel knows. All right. Same energy. Mikel knows. And here's what I found really interesting about yesterday's game. We were WhatsApping, James and I, during the match. And I was like, hello, what are these subs? Why are you bringing on Gabriel Jesus? Why are you bringing on Odegaard? Why are you bringing on X, Y, and Z? We've got Liverpool at the weekend. But this is where I do give Mikel respect, because I think that he's always trying to prove a point about what is acceptable and what standards are acceptable. Whether you're playing in the League Cup, the FA Cup, against City or Liverpool in the Premier League or Europa League, he is setting standards. I think that's the one thing I've been the most impressed. Questioned him previously, yes, but the most impressed I am is by the standards that he's setting for these players. Now, thank God nobody got injured. All right. And if he had thought for a second that Matt Turner was putting the team in danger, I think Mikel would have no qualms about yanking him off. Forgive the pun. Um, Agree or disagree, James? Because
No, I'm not. Again, don't want to be disrespectful. We've seen him hook players that are far greater than what Matt Turner is, and
Mhm.
that's that. I'm not. I'm not being nasty. He's not afraid to. You saw it with Ozil. You saw it with a bet. He don't care about dropping the big earner. And you've got people that are like, well, you can't have people like that on that kind of money not playing. And he's like, I don't care. I've got this level, and if you're not at that level, you ain't in. And that's
Mhm.
one thing. Yeah, I like people that stick to their principles, whatever their principles may be. I like the fact that you've got your strength of your own conviction to say what you say and you mean it when you say it.
Right. And
I've
this
always
is what
respected that.
right, and this is I think we should all be fair in how we discuss everything, right? So if you're gonna if you and I agree with Universal Greek, leave Sambi and Turner alone. They're learning the ways of Arsenal. I trust Arteta's judgment implicitly. And Christopher says, I wish people would stop judging Sambi on his performances in the sixth role. He's just filling in. He's a number 8. And look, he will be the starting goalkeeper. And let me tell you something, it is going to be joyous when England play the US and we have Ramsdale in one goal and we've got Matt Turner in another. Lynn says Matt made 2 great saves, and the more he plays, the more confidence he will get. And what I loved about Tom Canton's article in Football London, and if you haven't seen it, Tom got the opportunity to just have some quick words with Matt Turner. And Tom says in his article, Matt Turner has said, look, as this competition progresses, I've been given no guarantees that I'm going to be in goal. And this is what I like. And that was the scene in All or Nothing that I really enjoyed, when Arteta said, don't think I'm not going to sub you. Don't think you're just going to play. And the Arsenal way, James, was if your name's Ozil, if your name's Mustafi, if your name's X, for a long, long time, they just got to play. And we've gone back to earning the right to wear the shirt. And I
S-
think that if we're going to be patient with Mikel Arteta for almost 3 years, guys, all right, please show the same patience to the players.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, you made a great point there about Mustafi. It does. I know it feels long ago, but it isn't that long ago that he come out and pretty much told us that he wasn't going to be here anymore and didn't want to be him anymore. And he had the armband on when we played that Irish team. Do you remember?
Yes.
He
Yeah,
was the
yeah, yeah.
captain.
Yeah.
I nearly pulled my hair out. I'm like, what? What is
Unreal.
what's going on?
Unreal. Unreal. I wanted to give a shout out to Jenny, who's in the house, Jenny Hogg. Jenny posted something really funny on Facebook the other day that I thought was hilarious. She goes, "We are top of 2 leagues. We are top of 2 leagues." And I'm like, now there's a song for everyone to sing at the weekend. Well, very good, Jenny. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Very creative. Any things I'm not going to take out too much from that game last night, James, in the sense that this worried me, that worried me. I actually felt for the first time in a long time, and let me know again if you agree or disagree, that beyond our starting 11, we actually had players who came in, and I didn't feel nervous about things shifting and changing too much. I didn't feel like, and of course, the players who came on helped just kind of bring it home. But I also don't think that it was necessary. I think that team that he started would have got us to the end of the game. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
100%. No, 100% agree. Yeah,
And I don't feel like, oh no, of course, if Thomas Partey is going to be injured, that's a problem. That's a really big problem. We all know that. But Fabio Vieira, just to go back to him once again,
awesome.
his touches, he reminds me of the Manchester City Silvers. And someone wrote and said, Sophie's too skinny. He needs to put on weight. Get him a steak. And I'm like, did people used to say that about David Silva? Did people say that about Bernardo Silva? This guy is an exquisite footballer. My goodness. And you know what I liked too? Arteta gave him a bit of a bellowing at some points and he picked up his game. He listens. And that's the other thing too. Arteta's very lucky. He's got the DNA of these players. They're like sponges. They listen. I know Marquinhos was bellowed out and he had a bit of a harder time. And I'm not going to like throw stones at him and be, oh God, we're no, again, another player who isn't playing very often and has to get used to it, James. So for
Sophie,
me,
can I throw something at you about
yeah,
Marquinhos? And maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. It'd be interesting to see if the chat knows. Now, he is in no way comparable to Saka. However, they're very similar in what they do, in the way they play. But what I like about McKinney is he's a bit more selfish than him. And I don't know if that's because it's not been coached out of him yet to be more look for the pass, look more. I like that about him. I do like the fact that he's got a bit of when I chop in, I'm not always going to look for the pass. I'm going to take the shot on. I saw bits of it last night, and when I was watching him, I like you, mate. I know it's still very early, but I'm
do you
like,
know who
I
that?
really like you.
Yeah, do you know who that reminds me of a little bit? And I don't like to bring his name up, but when I watch Anthony play for United, he does
Mm.
that. Now, Paul Scholes called him a one-trick pony, and
But the one trick's very good.
one trick's very good. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
good when you see it.
yeah.
When we signed him, I saw a lot of people saying Douglas Costa, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on
I
this.
can see
And then
that, and I.
and then yesterday I was like, yes, Douglas. I can see the Douglas Costa now.
Do you know what, James? He's really built like Douglas Costa, and I've been
He
watching
is.
Douglas Costa here for LA
Yeah.
Galaxy. I did not realize how big Douglas Costa's thighs were.
Mm.
I had no idea. Maybe it's because I don't really look at guys' thighs a lot. But
You should see the picture of Tierney in training today. My word,
really, is he?
Tierney's getting Grealish calves. I'm like, wow, okay,
Mm,
lad, fair enough.
it's good. He's bulking up. He's getting stronger. Listen, Tierney's one of those. Has the fire has been lit under his little Scottish belly,
Yeah, that's what we
and
wanted.
And that's what we wanted. The arrival of Zinchenko. I thought he was great last night. Thought
Yeah.
he showed all of the skill sets that we've known to love. And what else did we see? Just seemed again like he was happier, but he was fit, maybe
Mm.
fully fit.
Yeah.
You know, we know that a lot of our players have had to play through pain because squad depth has not been great, James, over the last couple of seasons. But yeah, I thought Tierney was really really good. And just to go back to your Marquinhos thing, like Saka is an elite player who could
Mhm.
become a world-class player, right? A little bit like when Nuno played those first couple games. Oh, he can rival Tierney to the position. Let's just call the Jets on Marquinhos and Saka right now. And our change will brings up a really good point in that, you know, we were playing Bodo, we weren't playing in the Premier League. But I would trust that 11, that 11 that started, do they beat like the bottom three? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we do. But all I'm saying is that if you don't have to change 8 players and you're only changing 3 and one of them isn't Thomas Partey, it's not as dire as it was last season.
No, no, and I tell you what, I did find interesting as well, especially in the second half, was when he took Xhaka off and he moved Odegaard back to where that 8 role is, and then sort of had Vieira as that 10, but then also had them as the 2 8s. And I thought them two, some of the stuff they were doing together, I was like, whoa, this is another avenue. I'm like, you know, a lot of people talking about the World Cup. The players that we've got that are going to be going out there, there's not a lot of our first team that's potentially going to start. You can think maybe Saliba might start. You think Xhaka will probably start for Switzerland. I believe they're there.
Whereas, yeah,
Party
their
Party's
captain
gonna
and
Party's gonna play for Ghana. So, and other than that, I think if you look at Martinelli, will he start for Brazil? You don't know because they've got Rodrigo and Vinicius out there, and
but
they're very very good players.
hopefully he will go. I mean, for
Oh
me, I'd
yeah,
rather he stayed, but for
oh
his
of
psyche, I
course.
think,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think Jesus probably won't start up top for Brazil. He might, but you don't know. So,
Saliba will
we
be in the French squad.
yeah, again, but will he start? That's another question.
No, he'll be a sub,
Yeah, so
probably.
if you're looking at the players that we've got staying home, there's a good nucleus of them that are going to have that nice little break. So we go into the January. Okay, it's going to be tough with some of the ones that are coming back. However, some of the ones that are staying home, you're
Yeah,
going to get,
Tommy
you're
will
going to,
start too.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a point. Yeah, I forgot about him. Sorry. Yeah, so there's a good line of production there in terms of what's
Yeah.
staying behind as well as what's coming back. So
Yeah, no, good points,
it's all
James.
options. It's all options which
Yeah, because
we need.
Kev and I were talking from a selfish point of view. I want Benjamin White to not go, right?
Yeah,
But of course, from a growth point of view, how wonderful would it be for him to go to the World Cup?
yeah,
You know, it's like me. My dream was, as I'm starting out in my career, you want to go to the Oscars. Now, I might not win an Oscar, but to just have been there, like, wow, right? So he may go, but he may not play. Um, by the way, there's still time to win an Oscar. I'm just saying, this
there's
new
plenty of
project I'm
time.
working on, it
Plenty of
might
time.
come. Might be a Golden Globe, I don't know, but plenty of time. Only if your brother writes the theme music to it, then maybe, just maybe.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
eh?
he's pretty good. He's got a chance if if someone picks him up, he's quite good at the old movie scores, you know.
All right, let's get everyone excited about this weekend. Well done, Europa League win. Love it, love it, love it. Whenever I think of Liverpool and Arsenal now, all I see is this in my head. All I see is this in my dreams. I mean, James, the vision is this. Go on, Mikel, give it some. I love now. Look, a lot of people think it was a naive move, and some people think it was great. Don't mess with us. We were at theirs and all that jazz. And I jest a little bit, and I think he's learned from that. Look at this is calm, Mikel. Hey, don't worry. We got this, but we also know how emotional he is because he loves that. We've seen it in the documentary. This is a massive game. Do you agree or disagree with me? I believe this game is bigger in terms of getting 3 points than the North London derby because we beat Tottenham at home a lot. They beat us a lot at theirs. For me, this is the game where the Arsenal can really start saying, hey, take us seriously.
Oh, I again, people are gonna get fed up to this. I 100% agree again. um, if we win on Sunday, you go 14 points clear of them in October. That's massive. That is absolutely massive. I mean,
So crazy.
even the most ardent anti-Arteta people have got to be like, hang on, to go 14 points above Liverpool in October is pretty impressive. I think you got to be a right killjoy to not be impressed at that.
Listen, I was asking Harriet Pryor from the Anfield Wrap. And by the way, I did an episode drop today. Really great piece. It's a short one. It's only 17 minutes. Go take a listen. A really objective view of us. She's a huge fan of Mikel Arteta. And in fact, when we were on the Sky Sports Transfer Deadline Day show, we were all asked to pick another manager who would love to manage our team. She picked Mikel Arteta. And I said to her, if I said to you that when we play each other in October, and if we beat you, we'll be 14 points ahead, you would have driven me to the asylum, you would have dropped off the keys and left me there forever and ever and said, this one, don't let her out. She's totally crazy. I mean, when people talk about process to progress, that alone in itself, I think if we just focus on our story, we've made so much progress. Liverpool have regressed, of course. There's a lot of reasons for that. But I think they've also been our benchmark model, James, for doing things the right way,
Yeah.
staying patient, believing.
Hmm.
Would you? I mean, with Klopp coming in, he finished eighth in his first season. It takes a while to get clicking, but the difference I think was that Klopp came in proven, and
Yes.
Arteta was unproven. But
Yes.
here we are now, going into this match, 11 points ahead of Liverpool Football Club. It could be 14 by Sunday night, and that is crazy.
It's absolutely mad, and it just goes to show, the patience and also very much like Liverpool, the additions. I mean, Jurgen Klopp done his conference today, and he was very, the dandy Warhols. Oh, I like you, I like you, I like you to all our players. Music reference. If anyone gets that, I'll be impressed. He always does this. It's his new way of tapping players up. Just like, oh, I remember you, Odegaard, when you were 15. I spoke to you. Oh, I love Martinelli. Oh, I love Jesus. Oh, I love this one.
TalkSport did a thing. They did a. I was listening earlier to. I can't remember who was on, but they did a whole. Is that what you're talking? They did a reel of it actually. Where he
Yeah.
talked about Martinelli.
All he does is talk about how he loves all our players
Oh,
all
he
the time.
likes. He likes
just before
Gabby.
just before we play him. It's just what he does. It's what he does. And I would, I'd love, Kevin Keegan. I'd love to beat them. I'd love to beat them at the weekend because, again, the 14 points is massive. It's so massive.
It's so massive, and it would take a lot for them. Look, they made up, what, 11, 12 points when they were
Yeah,
behind City from
yeah,
January towards the end of last season. Their early season form cost them. They'd won a couple games. One of the other things Harriet was talking about too was she didn't buy into the "who have you played yet" type thing
no,
because she and I it sounded at the beginning that she did, but then when we kind of talked it through, she's like, "Look, we dropped points to Fulham, Brighton, uh, and we beat
Palace.
Fulham, Palace, we beat Palace, so that's the juxtaposition. When it's Liverpool, those other teams have earned it. When it's Arsenal, it's like, they're just not that good. And be prepared for the narrative on Sunday night. It's just not the strongest Liverpool team, is it? Trent's not playing well. Their midfield's aging.
Oh
They
yeah,
lost Mane.
yeah. I mean, I know you had him on the other night. I'm a big fan of ESPN FC, and if we do win, I cannot wait for that show for those shows next week. I cannot wait
Well,
because
Vesper's the
yeah,
same as well.
yeah. There's going to be. It's exactly how you said it. I know he's great when he comes on, and I do love him. I think him and Craig Burley are fantastic. I love listening to that show. I have done for years. I love them both. But yeah, there's going to be something. It's not going to
He's
be, oh, Arsenal. Wow, what a performance. There's going to be a caveat there somewhere.
I'm gonna call. He knows. I've got my hot text to Stevie ready.
Yeah,
I tell you, and that other
yeah.
one, Burley. Yeah, he knows as well.
Oh, I
But
love him.
he's he comes across as such a curmudgeon.
Yeah,
But he's. I know that everyone. The amount of DMs I got. Why didn't you say this to him? Why didn't you?
mm,
Why didn't you? And it's. I do it my way. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I think it's all
yeah.
good. In terms of doing it his way, Vinny is hitting that like button. Um, Almost 200 of you in live chat over this period so far. Hit the like button, please. And Vespa is channeling her Ramsdale right here. Give her a little bit of a like. Come on, you guys. Uh, who is this a bigger game for? Us or them?
Well, I'm trying to remember the last time that we played Liverpool and we were favourites. It feels like so long ago. I think it's a much bigger game for them because they've got to show that they're still not out of it. And then, second to that, you also, as much as it would be nice to have that Liverpool back in your box, they can go, have that Arsenal, you still don't beat big teams.
Mm-hmm. For
It's that two-sided, like you've got there coins. It's that two-sided coin.
For them, I think it's bigger for points. For us, it's bigger for prestige.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
I think because everyone's like, oh, they've played so many games, they've been in the Club Cup Championships, they've been to how many Champions League finals, they've been to Europa League final. They've played over the years. There's a lot of mileage, and there's no doubt about it. Liverpool have played an insane amount of games.
Mm,
I think if they win, everyone's going to start, is our Liverpool back? Have we written them off too soon? Right?
yes, of course.
If we lose, I told you what's going to happen. If we win, the whole our Arsenal really legit. The question's being asked, but if we beat them, it takes us to a totally other level in terms of respect. And that is what I want the most. A lot of people I've heard us say, oh, I'll be happy with a point, Yeah, of course, I don't want to lose, but no, I want to beat them. I want to beat them because we deserve the respect and these players deserve the respect. And I would, as you said, I would love it. I would love it. And I think it's a far more important game for us than it is for
Okay.
them, James.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
yeah, they miss Mane, but Harriet wasn't making any excuses about that today. None at all. You cannot be a one-man team. And what did we hear? Klopp's built the best team It was never the Mane team or the Mane show. It was Mo, it was Bobby, it was Mane, the midfield, VVD, Allison, and the two wing backs. I mean, this is nonsense, really. Okay, so Stu, I'm going to give this to James. Get your questions in as well, real quick, and then we'll do our predictions, you guys. Big danger is Jota versus Ben White. Big danger was Zaha versus Ben White. Big danger was going to be X from Tottenham versus Ben White. The guy is hopeless and dangerous runners. This is very, very unfair, Stu. James, I'm going to let you give your perspective on Benjamin and what you think he's done so far this season, and answering Stu's comment here.
Yeah, I think Benjamin this season, I mean, even last season in the partnership that he had with Gabriel was fantastic. And do you know what? He is the most expensive player out of our back line. And he could have easily have gone, I'm not playing right back. Well, why should I? I'm the £50 million guy, not the rest of these lot. But he's swallowed it. He's accepted it. And do you know what? He's done his job, and he's done his job bloody well. I think Saka loves having him behind him. I think them two, some of the overlaps that they're doing together, especially some of the ones in that Bournemouth game, were absolutely exceptional. And I think that with Saliba next to him, he knows if I'm not as positionally aware as I need to be, that guy will bail me out. So I can be a bit more adventurous and maybe take a risk on, because I know I've got the big man behind me that's going to help me. And, when you watch Gabriel and Saliba together, I think that Saliba's guiding him through games when it should be the other way around. I think he's helping Gabriel through. And that just goes to show the talent level that guy has. But yeah, Jota's always been a threat for us. But I think Ben White, he can handle the assignment. The only real shocking defending that I've seen from us all season was the 2 goals that we conceded at Man United, the Anthony one, and then the second one from the second one from Rashford. Because when you play that high line, you got to have that counter press perfect. Like people always go about how Spurs, oh yeah, but they're boring, they're negative, but everyone always goes, yes, but they're clinical. And when they're clinical, and I'm like, when you do that counter press, it has to be flawless. And this is a team, a bit like Manchester United, that are down on their luck, they're down on their chips, but they know that if we do that high line, they will absolutely slice us up.
Yep.
But
I think we've learned from that United game.
So
don't
do I.
you?
Yes.
And the loss was quite humbling.
Yeah, and it's another reason why I think Tierney might come in, is because what Zinchenko gives you, obviously, offensively and going forward and packing that midfield, which teams have really struggled with, Tierney's the better defender. And I think against Liverpool, he might go, I need the better defender for this one.
Yeah.
But then you could say the same about Tomiyasu.
Yes, the play. Look, I think, and look, Tommy, who didn't put a foot wrong last season, really, and has come in, kind of became a mini cult hero real early, didn't he? And Arteta's playing Benjamin, whose natural position is not right back, over Tommy, who's been really great at right back, and it just shows you that's the depth I was talking about at the top of the show. God forbid something happens to Benjamin, Tommy can come in. If Gabriel gets injured or Saliba, we've got cover at centre back. That competition between Zinchenko at left back. The biggest hurdle for us all season is going to be Thomas Partey, because he is integral to absolutely everything we do. And what you're talking about, like that slice and dice, if we're not careful, James, the one player that scares me of theirs, and where is it? I think Mark just said it too, is Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
He's the kind of player, right? this whole hoopla when Nunes came in this season, and every team, United wanted him, Arsenal wanted him. Well, I think everyone's happy they didn't get him, based on what we've seen so far. But Luis Diaz, I think since January, has been one of their best players since he's come in.
Oh yeah, he's remarkable.
And what he can do, James, and we have maybe 3 or 4 of those players now, and they've had those players all the time. Like, what he can do out of nothing is very scary.
Mm.
And that really concerns me in terms of getting a bit, what is he the player that scares you the most?
Um, I look at it and I think to myself, it's going to be him, or it's going to. I know he's not had the best of seasons, but I always worry about Salah.
Mm.
You don't become that bad overnight, and there's going to be a period where he comes back. And again, we've talked about it with narratives. He will look at this and go, "This could be my chance to put my season back on track." I hope it's not. I really hope it's not. But that's what he's gonna want to be doing.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's a dangerous player. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
You know,
Um,
it could be famous last words, but I look at Nunes and I think to myself, if they're going to do what they sometimes do, which is they go out to Robertson and they go out to Trent and they cross at nauseum, he may or may not get his. But Ramsdale's very, very good at his high claims, so I'm not really worried if they go for that route of just crossing, 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 cross. I'm okay if that's the kind of game that they want to play. So we shall see. We shall see.
yeah.
But I want to see Martinelli up against Trent. I want him spun like a hot point washer. That's all I'd be telling. That's all I'd be telling him all week. You go in there, you chop, you chop, you chop, because he for however good he is attacking, there has got to be a time. And I've got a lot of friends that support Liverpool, but I'm like, when are you going to accept that whatever he gives you attackingly, he's a shocking defender? Because they still won't have it. A majority of them will still not hear that he is terrible defensively.
But they've won with him. They've won the Champions League.
I
They've won the
know, I
Premier
know,
League.
I
They've
know.
won 1-1. It's because the team isn't performing well now too. He's probably been one of their worst performers. But he's still been one of their best players. And the thing is, with Virgil van Dijk being out of form, the protection that he got from the midfield doesn't exist anymore. The protection that he got from Van Dijk and Matip, and it just isn't there right now. And I think it's really easy to point the finger and just say, "Oh, you're a shit defender." Well, I'm sorry, the dude's won everything.
Oh yeah.
And there's a reason he's playing in the position he is for Liverpool. Now, is he in terrible form in that area of his game? 100%. Can Martinelli, marshmallow him? Absolutely. Yes. But these are still world class players who, in a heartbeat, he's another one who could say, you know what? Sod you lot, boom.
Yeah.
Could just destroy a team in a second by doing something brilliant. And they have the ability
Saw it
to do
against
that.
Rangers the other night. That's a lovely free kick.
Right. And I know everyone say, well, it's Rangers. Well, you know what? People say, oh, it's Brighton. Oh, it's, Crystal Palace. He scored. You still have to score. You still have to put it in the back of the net. You still have to have the technical ability to do that, right? So, yeah. Dublin Guna says, we're the better team right now. Sunday's a test of mentality more than anything else. Just have to drop the inferiority complex against them. Yes. And we didn't drop the inferiority complex against them last season when we went down to 10 men, but we did when we came home. So that's what I want to see in terms of an improvement. We dropped, we had that inferiority complex at Old Trafford last season. Improvement. We went there and showed guts and no respect for them this time around. So Dublin Guna, fantastic comment here, because I do think that is very important. And I don't think this Arsenal team, James, fear anyone right now.
No, I actually think teams are starting to fear us again, and I love it. I love
No,
it.
it's really cool. Right. We've been 40 minutes in. I said to James, the show's going to be 30 minutes tonight. And everyone knows that I can never do it. I can never, ever stick to a time frame. So let's all get our predictions in for Sunday. James Johnstone, what do you say?
I am going to say a very nervy 2-1 Arsenal win.
A very
I'm gonna
nervy.
I'm gonna go for it. I think we're gonna have to work hard for it, but I think we're gonna get there. I think we're gonna do it.
Who do you think is going to be our hero on the day?
Do you know what? I've got a feeling that it's gonna be someone that you don't normally expect. So I think it's gonna be someone like Tierney. Against Spurs, he had that big hit that produced a save from Lloris. He had a very good hit last night that hit the post. As much as we say, "Oh, Party's due one," with the long shots, I think he might crack one here. I think he might unleash something from quite far out, and it flies. I've got the dream in my head that it's going to fly top corner. And
How much did you want that shot to go in? He's gotten close now, hasn't he? The last 2 games to
well,
scoring a screamer.
you said he's got the fire in his belly, and do you remember when he scored the goal, the one against West Brom that was in the snow? Obviously, is the famous one. But do you remember the
Mhm.
one he scored against Norwich, and he sort of ran to our fans and was just like, "I'm here," and he was on like he said there, he was on a mission. I think he's going to absolutely bang one, and just like some other Scottish people used to say, "Simple minds." I think he's going to go. Don't forget about me. Don't you
Oh,
forget
look
about
at
me.
you with the headline. Boom!
Yeah,
James Johnstone. I love
yeah.
it. Absolutely
I
brilliant.
I think we're gonna do it. I mean, I saw Chris Sutton's predictions today. He reckons 4-1 Arsenal, and I'm like, well, I believe
That makes me nervous.
I think someone's due a pasting from us, like a big one as well. I think this season someone's getting slapped by us big time, but I don't think it's going to be Liverpool.
That would be just now
Yeah,
see what you've done.
I know,
Now
I know.
I've got the
I mean,
draws.
I mean it, Sophie. And I'm not talking Europa League. I'm talking in the Premier League. Someone's getting a slapping from us in the next few weeks. I don't know who, but someone's going to get a slapping. Like I'm
Yeah,
talking
big.
5 or 6.
Is this the Spurs Danny D or is this a Liverpool Danny D? And
This
because
is
he's changed his name to Big Danny D, and I'm like, who told you that? Hey? Who told you that?
there's a lot of women that I think have told Danny D that. I'm afraid.
Uh, oh my gosh, you can't come in here and brag. You know what? Do you know what? I can't deal with it. You know what? Daddy, you're in a timeout. You're just talking nonsense. Go away. Where have you been all week? Crying out loud. You get bitch slapped by us. You don't show up. You come in on Monday at the very beginning. Arsenal fans always running. And we're like, where have you been? You're the one doing all the running this week. You must be exhausted, like
Yeah.
Forrest Gump. Run, Forrest, run. 1 year later, there's Danny D. Oh, yeah. What did Spurs win? Oops, nothing. Put him in a time capsule. Bring him up 10 years later. What did Spurs win? Nothing.
I,
Jeez.
do you know what? I was so glad. Is it Jonathan Liu? He did that article. He slight digs at Ed Sheeran, which I thought was quite funny as well. I know I'm on a bit of a music tangent tonight. I'm sorry.
You are, I like it.
Um, he he's the only journalist that I've seen that's actually spoken what I've never known a team that's praised so much that's never won anything in my lifetime. I don't understand it. And is it because they've got so many English players, or because and
It's Harry Kane.
I've spoken to my friends that are Tottenham fans, and I've said to them, "You've sacrificed your principles twice just to win something. You went for Jose and you went for Conte because you have to get something over the line." And I'm like, if you fail this both times, you're going to look even more silly than you do now.
Well, this is a club that sacked one of the winningest coaches in terms of trophies in modern
Yeah,
day football
yeah,
a week before a cup final that he
yeah.
could have delivered them the cup final. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous. I
Exactly.
mean, seriously. I love that. Can you share? I'd love to read that or wherever he said it.
Yeah.
Because that should be, I might
It
make a t-shirt out of it.
honestly, it was
Make
so funny. It was so
Yeah,
funny.
totally. Right. Before I go, right, I want everyone to give me a film recommendation, TV show, And James, I want you to give me a tune recommendation or an album I should listen to over the weekend. This is what we're going to start
Oh
doing
my
at
goodness.
the end of the show on Fridays, because it is the weekend. We're a little bit more chill. We don't play till Sunday. I'm going to take it so easy tomorrow, even though the weather here is lovely. I just want to watch a couple films or binge watch a TV show. Tony watched that new Dharma thing on Netflix, and I couldn't. I was like, I can't. This isn't relaxing to me. I mean, this is just horrific. She likes all those murder mystery shows and, like, 48 hours or whatever they call it, like Forensic
I
Files.
I am yet to have watched Dharma, but I will tell you, I'm going to disappoint all your female viewers now, so I apologise. I have now got a girlfriend, I'm afraid. Sorry to all the Highbury Squad
Oh,
women.
look at you.
I know it's unbelievable.
This is where I need that. This is where I need that breaking news. Break da 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 da. Breaking news.
Yeah.
James
I
has
was
a
just about to
girlfriend.
do a balloon. I was just about to do a balloon drop, but I've got a towel as a curtain, so I can't afford a balloon drop, I'm afraid.
She's a very lovely lady. I've met her.
We went to the cinema the other day to watch Bullet Train. If you've not watched Bullet Train yet, I recommend it. I know it's got a bit of a bad rep from some. I really enjoyed it. Now you're going to tell
Really?
me you've seen it and you didn't like it.
No, I've avoided it because it
Oh, okay.
looks absolute garbage.
No, it's fun. It is fun.
Is it?
Yeah, when I
Okay.
was watching it, I was just like, this is very much like Deadpool. Then I read that it's the guy that makes Deadpool 2. And I think he does
Oh, I
John
see.
Wick and everything else. You know
Oh,
how
I
in
love the John Wick movies.
Yeah, so do I. You know how in Deadpool, some of the killings, they're done in like, I hate it. I hate using this term, but they're done in like a funny way. You're like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
they've died, but it's sort of
It's like black comedy.
exactly.
They call that black comedy in the movies.
There's a ton of that in Bullet Train, but it really works, and there's cameos galore in it, and every single time it keeps happening, you're just like, oh my god, this one, yeah, I loved it. I really liked it.
Okay. Guna Colt says it's fun garbage like Firefly, but with more budget. Clive, we did our predictions like 10 minutes ago. Rewind it 10 minutes. I haven't given mine yet. 3-2. There you go. That's my prediction. Thought we'd end up on something kind of like to take us away from like what Mikhail would do. I want you to think of this light bulb. What? Okay, you recommend Bullet Train. What about a tune? What tune do I need to have on my
Right,
decks?
Sophie, you need to listen to a English band called Jungle. Now they don't do jungle music, but they're called
Wicked,
Jungle.
wicked. Jungle is
Exactly,
massive.
exactly.
Incredible, incredible
I love my
general.
jungle music, but no, they're not. These guys are superb. I watch them every time they play live in London, and they're one of the only groups that I've seen that how he sounds on a CD live. Sorry, how he sounds on the CD or on your Spotify, or whatever. He's exactly the same in person. He's flawless. But
Mm.
the first album is probably their best work, and you want to listen to the opening track called "The Heat."
All right. Peter
It's a
giving you
banger.
the thumbs up
They're really,
on
really good.
on that. Um Tammy's going with The Weekend. I love
I
it.
love The
Gary
Weeknd. Not just
Newman, Gary
as in
Newman,
the
of
singer,
course.
as well as I actually love The Weeknd as well.
So have you heard of a band called Dramarama?
I've heard of Bananarama,
Yeah.
but I don't know Dramarama.
One of my
Guilty as a
mates
girl
is like,
can be, I know that one.
yeah, he's trying to convince me to go and watch them tonight because they're playing locally, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who?
Oh, there's some
I'm an
great,
old lady.
there's
Yeah.
some great. That's a great song.
Okay. All right.
Matt's picked a very good song.
All right. I will give you my review of Bullet Train.
Yeah.
And good ones that have flown in as well. I like it when the squaddies go a little old as well, because it doesn't have to be a new film,
No, no, no.
or a new TV show, or new band, or new music. So I never know if he's being serious either. Check out Japanese Breakfast. Is that an actual real thing? I don't trust this guy one
Yeah.
iota. Do
You
you know what
never
I
know
mean?
with Newman.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a
All
thing
right.
on Twitter today about best ever MTV unplugs, and Alanis Morissette got mentioned in that quite a lot.
Did they bring that back at all?
Yeah, I
Unplugged.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of ones that I'm like, well, these are definitely not from when I remember. Like I think it was Bastille and some other,
Wow. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
is it Bon Iver? I think I saw him do one.
Well, she was great, and Nirvana also were great when they did,
Yeah, yeah.
Unplugged. I
But I like,
love
I love all that scene. I love Alice in Chains. I love Stone Temple Pilots. I like all those grunge
I w
bands. To be
I
fair.
was listening to Chris Cornell the other day.
Oh my goodness, yeah, huge
Yeah,
fan,
yeah, yeah.
huge
You know,
fan.
an old friend of mine actually christened one of his kids
Wow.
because he's married to a Greek woman. Vicky
Oh wow.
Cornell is Greek. Yeah. So she sang with him on stage as well. Unbelievable. Really quite unbelievable.
Yeah, he's.
Um, yeah, that's it. That's all we got time for. Soundgarden. Yeah.
You didn't pick a film or song yourself, Sophie?
Well, I just wanted the recommendations for
Okay,
me.
okay.
Next Friday, I'm going to give you guys some recommendations. I talk a lot. I talk too much sometimes, you know? So I thought I'd let you guys recommend for me. And then this weekend, I'll make some notes and I'll give you my recommendations next week. And maybe what we could do is introduce a little 2-minute video on Fridays where James Johnstone gives us some new music recommendations and another dodgy film to watch. Right.
I'll just be spamming you, my brother. Be like, check him out. We're moving in together. We need the money.
I love it. Brilliant. James, let me know that I've had this up. I know LL Cool James 91 is right, but tell everyone about your podcast and your show and where they can find it.
So yeah, you've put purely Arsenal FP in there. I do that with Jack and Neil and Michael. That's always worth a watch if you don't watch us. And then my own channel is literally James Johnstone Football. It took me forever to come up with a name. So it's literally my name, then football. And I do Arsenal and I also do the Premier League. And I'm not as biased as I may have sounded on here tonight. I actually try and give it more of a scope and more of a general, chat. I get other people on and we talk Premier League as well as Arsenal.
I love it.
And mostly rubbish. There's a lot of rubbish in there as well, Sophie,
I'm going to give you a film to watch, actually. You know
Okay.
what? By the way, everyone, if you're not checking out James's stuff, you know, he's getting his channel started. Please go subscribe and give him some love. He's so good and he's so humble. He's such a good human being. I absolutely
I
love
try my
having him on
best.
the show. I love
Thank you.
talking to James about stuff that's not even football related. He's one of football's good people. And I just love that through
Thank
Arsenal
you.
we've met. And I wish you luck. And however we can support your channel, James, we will.
I
Squaddies,
appreciate it.
please go subscribe. And Vinny's recommendation is King Otto. If you haven't seen King Otto, it is a fantastic documentary
It's on the list.
about Euro 2004 and when the Greeks, you can see my flag back there, right here, won the Euros. It's brilliant. It's really spine tingling. So go watch that. Right, that's all we got time for. Enjoy your Friday evening, what's left of it. Enjoy your day, no matter where in the world you might be. We are going to be back live after the big game this weekend. Arsenal v Liverpool, everyone. The 12th man, make that noise. Everyone who's watching around the world, make your voices heard through social media. We are onto something here, people. Let's keep the winning train going as long as we aren't the ones being hit with the bullets. If you know what I mean. See you on Sunday, everybody.
Fantastic. Yes. Yes.
At ease, everyone. At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Wait.
The Highbury Squad is powered by Zenith Coins. Support the future, treasure the past. Official licence partner of the Arsenal Football Club. Follow at Zenith Coins across all social platforms.
And now, good night.